We just love pizza, flat or folded. A folded pizza is known as a calzone, and we're going to take you through the steps to create your very own elite cheesy calzone. We're stuffing our calzone with clover cheese, some ham and some mushrooms. Domi, mwah, chef's kiss.
Chef's kiss, Balisa. And you mentioned that eliteness. I'm glad you're on the elite station because we need to make sure we get that cheesiness. No pizza or calzone in this instance is complete without that cheesy top, right?
Yep.
So I'm going to be doing the base, which is the sauce. Chef, you're going to be making the dough for us and is kneading it for us, showing us how to fill it.
Shape it, yep.
And all of that, right? So let me just get started here. All I need for my base is just some tomato puree, some onions, which I'm actually going to start with, pouring a little bit of oil into our pan. And this time I'm using some olive oil because I'd like to think it works perfectly, especially with this type of ingredient, being that we're pairing it with some tomato puree and some onions and garlic. Very basic, very simple. And then we're just going to reduce that down to a nice tomatoey base.
Oh, simplicity.
Yeah.
And then back to even more simplicity. So here's our dough again. Prove the same dough that you've used for your, your loaf of bread or whatever you want. It's really quite versatile. So again, dust your surface, knock all that dough back in, and then just sort of give it a bit of a work. Work it all the way through, and until it sort of starts really coming together. So again, talking about that kneading so important, not so much this time, but you can see how this really does come together nicely. It's not really sticking to my hands. Right, what we're going to do is let's just be fair and even with everybody. So cut it in half. So just like that, and then in half again to get perfect sort of sizes. If you really want, you can get the scale out, but who has time for that at home?
You know, Chef, I'm so glad you brought up who has time for that at home, because I certainly do not. So I'm all about keeping things super simple, super easy. You are the bread master. But for someone like me whose lifestyle is a little bit quicker paced, could you just buy pre-made dough?
Absolutely. Go down to your local supermarket, bakery, and go and get a kg of bread dough, and you'll be for away. So what you want to do is create lovely little balls. So if you actually, what I'm doing here is I'm using the palm of my hand, and I'm drawing it down and tucking it underneath.
Wow.
So what happens, it's lovely and smooth on the top. And if you actually look underneath, you can see how it's all sort of been nipped together. So do that with each piece. I'm just going to do 2 pieces for now. So get it nice and smooth. This will just sort of help when you start rolling it just now. All right, so there we go. Just keep drawing it down, tucking it underneath. Drawing it down, tucking it underneath. If it gets too sticky, a little bit more flour, and just keep working that there. Then what you need to do is to roll this out. Oh my goodness.
Heavy.
It's like a one to, I don't know, go where, my goodness. Right, what you need to do is then just roll it out. You don't need to put much weight on this rolling pin.
It's doing all the work for you.
It's doing all the work. And a little bit of flour on here, and then just going to sort of roll it out, and then just sort of twist your dough around, just to keep it nice and circular. If it's still sticking, a little bit more flour on there. All right, so really just take that and work it. And again, if you want a much bigger one, by all means, just, put 2 balls together and just keep working that around. So again, I've got a bit of an irregular shape. So if you want to get that perfect circle, just chase it where you want it to go. So I want it to be rounded here, for instance. Take your thing and roll it in that direction.
Beautiful.
Okay?
Chef,
a little bit more flour there.
on the bread station, it seems like we're making quite a steady pace here, and I'm loving that. Tumi, on the filling station, I just want to pass over to you some of that clover cheese. I mean, you spoke about the eliteness when it comes to this cheese. You can definitely be assured that there's nothing but elite taste, elite texture, and elite quality in this clover cheese. And I'm just going to add another layer to this conversation, Tumi, when it comes to the cheeses. On your side, I see you've got some cheddar and some Gouda, so we clearly can play with the different cheeses. So what flavors can we expect from that?
Well, so the one thing we're loving about this is that we've chosen to use the Gouda and the cheddar cheese, and the reason for that is because the Gouda adds that beautiful touch of sweetness because it's a little on the sweeter side, and then our cheddar has that, tasty little sharp taste that we love. And so pairing those 2 flavors together with our sauce and the sweetness of our onions, and then it also has the touch of saltiness. That's why you see we haven't added any additional salt, because the cheese will basically balance that saltiness in our calzones, Balisa. And our sauce is almost done. And I think, Chef, you're also almost ready to fill these babies, right?
So what I'm doing, if you've got something like this, you can see the dough is quite elastic. So I'm going to put my first one on the tray here.
Okay.
I'm actually going to do the other one, my interesting shape on this side.
An interesting shape, calzone.
But it's homely, I like to show, a little bit more chefy and all the rest of it. So, off with the flour.
Off with the flour.
Right, take your lovely mixture that you have someone make for you, of course. You know, it could be auntie, uncle, whatever.
Auntie Penny.
And anyway, what you're going to do with the tomato is just smear it and just fill it on the inside, but not to the edges. Very important not to take it to the edges, but you can do it on the whole of the base. So same with here. This one's going to be a little bit easier because it's round, and then you can be very chefy and just sort of, you know, move it around just like that. Now we're going to be folding it over in half. So what is important, I want to have the bread, then tomato, ham, cheese, and mushrooms on the inside there. All right, so that's like that there. All right, then taking some lovely cheese, which Tumi's going to sprinkle on 1/2, please.
I'm going to be very generous here, Chef.
Okay. All right, try not to get on the baking tray, you know. Oh, what do you like? I've told you once, you can do it again. Anyway, that's all right. So keep that in there and keep it in. I want to have this room. It's very important to have that border. All right? And then taking some bits of ham. So we're going to put some ham on that 1/2 as well.
You know, it's very interesting to see how different people do different things in the kitchen. For me, my calzone by now would be folded, pressed, done, and dusted. I would have just thrown everything inside just as is.
But again, by all means, remember, you want to have this completely sealed because if you have little pockets, it's going to be popping out. Now, here comes the magic. What you want to do is very carefully and quickly take this, flip it over, all right? And then you're going to just press it down. And very important, dough goes with dough, all right? And then just to seal this up, what we need to do is just start twisting around the outside. Twist it, twist it, twist it, twist it, twist. Get your oven, well, it's going to be already preheated at 230 degrees. Bake it for 10 to 15 minutes, and then go in. Calzone. How quickly is that?
It.
You know? Oh.
To get this recipe, head over to afternoonexpress.co.za.
Clover Cheese is for those who love life, where everything falls into place and melts away our cares, adding joy and stretching our imagination. Elite quality, elite taste, elite texture.
Made with love by Clover.